Hello students, how are you doing? Welcome to yet another online class. My name is Miss Catherine Iboleme. I've taken the subject mathematics. But before we start today's work or today's lesson, let's have a review of our last video. In our week 5 video, we discussed on solid shapes, where we're able to discuss the different types of what three-dimensional what shapes. Examples are the cylinder, the cone, the pyramid, the cuboid, and so on and so forth. We're able to discuss the properties and also discuss the volume of cube and cuboid. We're able to what calculate the volume of cube and cuboid. Please, I want you to what updated with the notes and also the what video. If you have any question, please don't forget to play the video again for you to what understand your question. But if you're unable to what understand, please don't forget to what send me message via what WhatsApp, and your questions will be attended to. So please don't forget the assignment given to you. Make sure you're what up to date with your what assignments and your notes. Let's move on today. Now today's topic we're discussing angles. We want to discuss what angles. We want to know the definition of what angles, and also know different types of what angles. Let's look at our lesson objective for today. At the end of today's class, the students should be able to what identify what angles, and also identify what angles, and to be able to what calculate angles between what crossing line using angle properties as a what a point, adjacent angles on a straight line, and also vertically what opposite angle. Today we'll be discussing what angles on a straight line, angles at a point, angles vertically what opposite. So today we'll discuss the different kind of what angles and how to what calculate them using what angle at a point, angle on a straight line, angle on what vertically what opposite what angles. And three, what we'll be discussing on what angles between what parallel lines. We'll be discussing the what alternating what angles and what corresponding what angles. Three, we'll also discuss the what the sum property of the what a triangle. We'll discuss the sum property of a triangle. We'll also calculate sum of angles what in a what triangle, and also outside what a triangle. Let's move ahead today. Angles, and angles can be defined as what where two rays meet at a common what end point. Excuse me. And angles can be defined as a what meeting point of two rays at a common what end point. On our screen we can see two different rays, but they met what at a common what end, which is called the what the vertex. At this common end of their meeting, which is formed what it forms what an angle. At the common end of the meeting of these two rays, it forms what an angle. This part is the what the arm, and this other place is the arm. This is what the vertex. The common meeting end, the end point of this place is what forms what an angle. And I think that again, an angle can be defined as a figure formed by what two rays meeting at a what common end point. So we can simplify, or the symbol of an angle is in this one. You can use this as a what a symbol word for what an angle. Instead of writing the angles in full, you can use this as a what a symbol of what an angle. So let's move ahead. Types of what angles. We want to discuss the different types of what angles. We have the acute angle. Acute angles are angles that are what less than 90 degrees. You can see they are less. It can be what 89 degrees, also an acute angle. 79 is also an acute angle, as long as it is what less than what 90 degree. We have the right angle, which is what 90 degree. It must be what 90 for it to be what right angle. We have the what obtuse angle. They are more than the right angle, but they are less than what 180 degree. They are more than 90, but they are less than what 180 degree. 179 degree or 179 degree is also an example of a what obtuse angle. We have another one which is what? Straight angle, which is 180 degree. The sum of any angle, the sum of any angle must give us what? 180 degree, which is what? Angle on a what? Straight line. We have this one which is what? Reflex angle. Reflex angle is what? 240 degree. It can be more than 180, but must not be what? More than what? 360 degree. A reflex angle is angle that is more than 180 degree but less than what? 360 what? Degree. You have the examples, there are very many. We have 240, we have 272, we have 240, we have 250, we have 259, we have 270, so what? We have 330, we have 350. They're all what? Examples of what? Reflex angles. So we have another one which is what? The complete angle, which is at what? 360 degree. Angle at a point is what? 360 degrees, which is what? Complete what? Angles. So we'll move ahead to the next one, which is what? Angles on a straight line. Angles on a what? A straight line. Don't forget I told that the sum of angle on a straight line is what? 180 degree. And this is the straight line, the sum of it. Any angles can be on this straight line, but the total sum must be what? 180 degree. It cannot be more than 180. It must be what? 180 degrees. So move ahead. This is an example of angles on a straight line. You can see from here to here is what? 24 degrees. From this place to here is what? B degree. From here to here is what? 39 degrees. From here to here is what? 45 degrees. So now we want to find the value of what? B. The value of what? B. Because B is not when known. Because when we add this 24 degree plus B degree plus 39 degree plus 45 degree, we have a total sum of what? 180 degrees. So let's find the value of what? B. Solution. We have 45 degrees plus 39 degrees plus B plus 24 degrees, which is equals to what? 180 degrees. Reason, sum of angles on a straight line. The addition of 45, 39, and 24 is summed up to be what? 108 degree. 108 degree. And B plus 108 degree is equals to what? 180 degree. Subtract 180 degree from both sides. 180 minus 180 is what? 0. We are left with what? B. 180 minus 108 is what? 72. Therefore, B is equals to what? 72. B is equals to what? 72. The addition of 24 degrees plus B, which is what? 72 degrees plus 39 degrees plus 45 degrees, will sum up to what? 180 degrees. Sum up to what? 180 what? Degrees. So let's move ahead to the next one. We have what? Supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are where two angles are summed up to what? 180 degrees. As long as there are two angles and the total or the addition of those two angles must give us what? 180 what? Degree. Then it is what? Supplementary angle. The addition or the sum of what? Two angles is up to what? 180 degree is called supplementary angles. We have an example of supplementary angle, which is 120 on our screen. 120 degrees plus 60 degrees is equals to what? 180 degrees. Another example is what? 140 degrees plus 40 is equals to what? 180 degrees. Those are an example of what? Supplementary angles. We have another one again. 160 degrees plus 20 degrees will give us what? 180 degrees. An example of what? Supplementary angles. What is a supplementary angles? Supplementary angles are angles that two angles sum up to be 180 degrees. Supplementary angles are angles where two angles sum up to be what? 180 degrees. You can give an example as many on your own. So we'll move ahead to another one, which is what? Complementary angles. Complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles where two angles sum up to be 90 degrees. Where the sum of two angles is what? 90 degrees, and it is called complementary angles. Example on our screen, we have 30 degrees plus 60 will give us what? 90 degrees. An example of a complementary angle. Another one is 45 degrees plus 45 degrees will give us what? 90 degrees. We have as many examples that you can mention. So we'll move ahead to the next one, which is what? Angles at a point. Angles at a point. The sum of angles at a point is what? 360 degrees. The sum of angles at a point is what? 360 degrees. We have an example on our screen. This is an angle at a point. This is the point. Starting from here, we have this one. Starting from here, we have this. Don't forget that we call this a ray. And when they have a meeting point, a common meeting point is called what? An angle. This meeting point, we have n plus 10 degrees. We have it to be what? 80 degrees. We have it to be what? 70 degrees. And we have it to be what? Q. So now we want to find the value of what? M and Q. M and Q. So let's find the value. Solution. We have what? 70 degrees plus 80 degrees plus n plus 10 degrees. So let's go to our diagram. This is what? N plus 10 degrees, 80 degrees, 70 degrees. Before we find the value of what? Q, let's find the value of what? M. So now, move ahead. 70 degrees plus 80 degrees plus n plus 10 degrees is equals to what? 180 degrees, which is what? Sum of angles on a straight line. Don't forget that the sum of angle on a straight line is what? 180 degrees. So now the calculation of 70 degrees plus 80 degrees plus n plus 10 is equals to what? 180 degrees. So now the addition of 70 plus 80 plus 10, we have what? 160 degrees plus n equals to what? 180 degrees. Let's want to get the value of n, we subtract 160 from both sides. 160 degree minus 160 degree is equals to what? 0. And 1 equals to 0, so we are left with what? N. Now 180 degree minus 160 degree is equals to what? 20 degrees. So now n is equals to what? 20 degrees. So let's find out the value for, let's go back. Our n here now is what? 20 degrees. So now 20 plus 10 give us what? 30 degrees. So the angle here is what? 30 degrees. So let us find the value for what? Q. We have our Q to be what? Q plus what? 70 degrees plus 80 degrees plus 30 degrees equals to what? 360 degrees. Reason, sum of angles at a point. The sum of angle at a point is what? 360 degrees. Meaning the addition of all the angles is equals to what? 360 degrees. So we have it to be what? 70 plus 30 plus 70 plus 80 plus 30 is equals to what? 180 degrees. So let us subtract 180 from both sides to find the value of what? Q. 180 degree minus 180 degrees will give us what? Q. And 360 degree minus 180 will give us what? 180 degrees. So the value of Q is equals to what? 180 degrees. So now, the addition of Q, which is what? 180 degrees, plus N, which is what? 20 degrees. 20 plus 10 is what? 30. So 180 degrees plus 10 plus 30 degrees plus 80 degrees plus 70 degrees will give us what? 360, which is what? Angle at a point. Because the sum of angle at a point is what? 360 degrees. So let's move ahead to what? Vertically opposite angles. So now, in the calculation of vertically opposite angles, I want to make you to understand that vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. Why are they equal? An angle, the angle opposite each other, which two lines crosses it? This is the line crossing this one, and also this one crossing this other one. They are what? What? Opposite what? Angle. So now x is equals to what? 105 degree, because it's what? Opposite what? Angles. Now y is equals to what? Z, because they are what? Opposite what? Angles. Now let us find the value of what? X and y. We already have, no, we already know the value of x to be what? 105, because they are what? Opposite what? Angles. And opposite angles are what? Equal. So if we can find the value of y, that means y is equals to what? Z. So that we have their what? Equal. So let's go on. We have to be what? X is equals to what? 105 degree. Reason, vertically opposite angles are equal. Please, you have to state your reasons. Vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. X is equals to 105 because they are what? Opposite angles, and they are equal. So let us find the value of what? Y. Once we get the value of y is also equals to what? Z. Reason, because they are what? Opposite angles, and they are also what? Equal. So now y plus 105 degrees equals to what? 180 degrees. Reason, sum of angles in a what? Straight line. Subtract 105 from both sides. That 105 minus 105 is 0, and we are left with what? Y. Excuse me. 180 minus 105 is equals to what? 70 what? 5. If our y is equals to 75, our z is equals to what? 75 degrees. So here is 105 degrees. Here is going to be what? 75 degrees. Here is going to be what? 105 degrees. Here is equals to what? 75 degrees. And the total sum of this is going to be what? 360 degrees, because they are what? Angle at a what? Point is equals to what? 360 degrees. But this one is what? Vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. Since our x is equals to 105, our y is equals to what? Z. And our y and z value is equals to what? 75 degrees. So let's move ahead. These are what? Angles in what? Parallel lines. Angles in what? Parallel what? Lines. What is a parallel line? Parallel lines are lines that have the same distance, but they can never what? Meet. They have the what? The same distance, they can never what? Meet. So the angles in parallel lines, here we have two parallel lines that have the same distance apart and can never meet, and another parallel line is crossing these two parallel lines, which is known as what? Intersection. And it is also known as what? Intersecting what? Transversal. Once another parallel line crosses the middle of the parallel line, it is known what? To form or to create angles, it is known as what? Intersecting transversal. On the screen, we can see that once this line has crossed the other parallel line, we have an angle here. There's also an angle here. There's an angle here, and there's also what? An angle. So let's move ahead. We have what? Alternating what? Angles. Alternating what? Angles. Alternating angles formed when lines crosses two other lines that lies what? Opposite sides. I take that again. When two parallel lines are on their own, I know the parallel lines can never meet, and another parallel line crosses it to form what? A transversal line. The angles opposite the transversal line, it is called what? Alternating angles. Let us take the one on our screen. Two angles formed when a line crosses two other lines that lies on what? Opposite sides of the word transversal line, and an opposite relatively side of the other line. If the two lines cross are parallel, they are what? Alternating what? Angles, and they are what? Equal. I take that again. When we have the two parallel lines that can never meet, but they have the same distance apart, another parallel line crosses that parallel line. Don't forget I called it what? Intersecting what? Transversal. So now it forms an angle, but the angle opposite apart, it's called what? Alternating what? Angles, and they are what? Equal. On our screen we can see 1 and what? 2. They are what? Opposite what? Apart. This is 1 and this is 2, and this is called what? Alternating what? Angles. We also have the A and the what? B, opposite what? Apart. It is called what? Alternating what? Angles. So an alternating angles are what? Equal. Don't forget, because we're going to use it for what? Our calculation ahead. Don't forget that alternating angles, they are equal once they cross the transversal line, and they are what? Opposite. Line opposite each other. They are called what? Alternating angles. And they are what? Equal. So let's move ahead to what? Corresponding what? Angles. Corresponding what? Angles. Corresponding angles are created where a transversal line crosses other one, which is what? Crosses other what? Parallel lines or crosses other lines, and the corresponding angles are the ones at the same location at each what? Intersection. These are what? This is a parallel line that can never meet, and transversal line crosses the parallel line, and the alternating angle is the old angle that lies what? Side by side of the what? Intersection. This is intersection. But they lie what? Side by what? Side. They are called what? Corresponding what? Angles. And they are what? Equal. Don't forget again, corresponding angles are those angles that lie side by side. Once the transversal line has crossed the what? Parallel line. They lie what? Side by side. The angle side by side is called what? Corresponding angles. And they are what? Equal. On our screen we can see what? The angle X and X lying what? Side by what? Side. And they are what? Equal. We have the other one Y lying side by side. They are what? Equal. We have this place Z lying side by side. Look at it. They are what? Equal. We have the other one, the same location. Look at this place, W and this. They are what? Equal. We take that again. The corresponding angle are the ones at the same what? Location at each what? Intersection. The corresponding angles are the angles that what? They have the same what? They are the same location at each what? Intersection. Please don't forget that. So now we want to what? Treat examples on what? Angles on what? On parallel lines. This is an example on it. This is a line. These are the parallel lines, and this is a transversal or intersecting transversal. So now we're asked to find the value of what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and what? H. From the definition so far of what? Alternating angle, corresponding angle, vertically opposite angles, you should be able to what? Find the value of this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and what? H. And we're given that A is equals to what? 120 degrees. We're also given that H is equals to what? 60 what? Degrees. For us now to find the value of D, for us to find the value, let us find the value of what? D. Or we should find the value of B first. This is 120 degree, and this is what? B. And B is not what? Given. How can we find B? If you observe B, you can find B in two different ways. We can say B plus A equals to what? 180 degree. Reason, sum of angles on a what? Straight line. Because A is already 120 degree, and 120 degree plus B equals to what? 180. And when you subtract 120 from both sides, we'll get what? B will stand alone, and 180 minus 120 will give us what? 60 degree. That's another way of finding the value of B. Or you can look at B and look at what? H. If you observe something, we say alternate angles lies what? Opposite the parallel lines once the transversal line has crossed it. So now B is an alternate angle to what? H. And the value of H is what? 60 degree. Meaning that B equals to H and H is equals to what? 60 degrees. So that means that the value of B is what? 60 degree. Reason, B is an what? Alternate what? Angle. And alternate angles are what? Equal. Now we've got the value of what? B. So if you look again, for us to get the value of C, what to get the value of C? We said what? Opposite angles are what? Equal. Vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. So since our A is 120 degree, our C is also 120 degree. Reason, because opposite angles are equal. If you observe again, for us to get the value of D, D is equals to what? B. Why? Because opposite angles are equal. Since the value of B is 60 degree, our D is what? 60 degrees, because opposite angles are equal. Then we'll move to this place. We've gotten the value for A, B, C, and what? D. So we'll move to this place. We have what? E, F, G, H. Look at it again. We said this is the value of what? E. For you to get the value of E, we said that corresponding angles that lie side by side at the same word, side by side in the word in the intersection. If you observe this, this is the transversal line that crosses the word parallel line, and these are the intersection that lie side by side are called what? Corresponding word angles. Meaning, and they are what? Equal. This is 120 degree, and E is a corresponding angle to what? 120 what degree, and E is equals to what? 120 degree. Since E is a corresponding angle, and corresponding angles are what? Equal. E is equals to what? 120 degrees. So since we have here to be 60 and E is equals to 120 degrees because corresponding angles are equal, so we have if H is 60 degree, our F is equals to what? 60 what degree, because vertically opposite angles are equal. So we have our G. Our G is equals to what? 120 degrees because vertically opposite angles are equal. So move ahead. What I've just explained, this is what it is. A is equals to 120 degrees, and A is equals to C is equals to what? 120 degrees, because vertically opposite angles are equal. And D is equals to B. Vertically opposites are equal, and 120 degree plus B is equals to what? 180 degree. Sum of angles on a what? Straight line. Subtract 120 from both sides. We have it to be what? B equals to what? 60, which I've mentioned earlier. So now B is equals to D, and D is equals to what? 60 degree. Vertically opposite angles are what? Equal. So we have H to be what? 60 degree, and F is equals to H, and F is equals to 60 degree. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So we also have our E equals to A. A is equals to what? 120 degree. Why? Corresponding angles are what? Equal. We also have G equals to A, and A is equals to 120. Why? Alternating angles are what? Equal. I've explained that. So let's move ahead to what? Angles in a triangle. Angles in a what? Triangle. In a triangle, the sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180 degree. The sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180 degree. And also in a triangle, we have the what? The interior angles and the what? Exterior angles. The interior angles are the angles inside the triangle, and the sum of it is what? 180 degrees. We also have the exterior what? Angle, which is what? The angles outside the what? Outside the word triangle. So let's move ahead. So I have an example of this. So we want to find the sum of angles in a word triangle. So this is an example. We're given a triangle. We have the first value to be what? 50. We have another 50 degrees. We have another one to be what? 70 degrees. The next one is what? A what? Degrees. Find the value of what? A. Don't forget that I said the sum of angles in a triangle is equals to what? 180 degrees. And A plus 70 degrees plus 50 degrees is equals to what? 180 degrees. The addition of 70 degree plus 50 will give us what? 120 degrees. And A plus 120 degrees equals to what? 180 degrees. For us to find the value of what? A, we subtract 120 from both sides. Subtract 120 degrees from both sides. And 120 minus 120 will give us what? 0. And we are left with what? A. So 180 minus 120 will give us what? 60 what? Degree. So the value of A here is what? 60 degree. And the addition of 60 plus 70 plus 50 will give us a total sum of what? 180 degree, which is what? The sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180 degrees. So that another example. Look at another one. We have here to be what? 120 degrees. Here is what? 34 degrees. So let us check it to get the word, the missing word, angle. Don't forget again that the sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180 degree. So now A plus B, angle A plus angle B plus angle C will give us what? 180 degrees. So angle A is what? 34 degrees. And angle B is what? 120 degrees. But angle C is not what? Given. So let's find the value of what? Angle C. The addition of 34 and plus 120 will give us what? 154 degrees. Plus C equals to what? 180 degrees. Subtract 154 degrees from both sides. So 154 minus 154 is equal to what? 0. So we are left with what? C. And 180 minus 154 degree is equal to what? 26. So our missing angle here is what? 26 what? Degree. 26 degree plus 34 degree plus 120 degree will give us what? 180 degrees. So that will give us what? Total sum of what? Angles in a what? Triangle. We've come to the end of today's lesson. Don't forget we've discussed what? Angles. We also discussed what? The types of what? Angles. We also discussed the what? Vertically opposite angles, angle at a point, angle of a straight line. We also discuss the parallel angle, which is what the alternating angles and the what? The corresponding angles. We also discussed the what? Angles in a what? Triangle. And the sum of angles in a triangle is what? 180 degree. So don't forget to be what? Updated. Please copy your note from the what? Website, because it can be what? Uploaded. And also do your what? Assignment. Please, if you have any question or any of the question that you don't understand, please don't forget, or please try to what? Send me message through what? WhatsApp. I need to what? To know that you're really following these videos and you're what? Understanding them. Please don't forget to take care of yourself and stay safe and be what? Happy. Till we meet next week. Take care of yourself and God bless you.